So this is a very anticipated matchup. Obviously, the Cowboys, division leader, they're in the playoffs. They're one of the biggest fan bases in the world. And what was it, 50 million people got to watch the Cowboys go home. So how did that happen on paper? Jimmy G was 16 for 25, 172 yards, no touchdowns, and one pick. Not his best day. But the running game kind of came out and helped him out. Elijah Mitchell got 96 rushing yards and a touchdown. And Deebo Samuel picked up 72 rushing yards and grabbed himself a touchdown as well. Deebo had 38 receiving yards on top of his 72 rushing, though Brandon Ayuk was the leading receiver with 66 yards. And Kawhi Williams picked off Dak Prescott. A pretty simple, just, run over the Cowboys and score, and they won the game. For the Cowboys, they did fight back towards the end. Dak went 23 for 43, 254 yards, one touchdown, and one interception. He did also have 27 rushing yards and a touchdown. And as I've written on our little sheet here, one act of foolery that we will cover towards the end here. Zeke led in rushing yards with 31 rushing yards, and that is a problem. Dallas's rushing game was not great. They had 77 rushing yards in total compared to San Francisco's 169, so they could not get it going on the ground. Dalton Schultz led all the receivers with 89 receiving yards, but Amari Cooper had 64 and got the only touchdown in the air. Anthony Brown picked off Jimmy G, and Dallas's fourth quarter comeback fell short. The 49ers advanced 23-17 and will face the Packers.
Yeah, so obviously the Cowboys are probably the most polarizing team in the NFL, probably in American sports, other than maybe the Lakers or the Yankees in the NBA and MLB respectively. But I would say Cowboys are probably number one. Most people are either Cowboys fans or they hate the Cowboys. I think I could be 100% incorrect in saying that. But besides all that, just in all seriousness, I'm not saying this is someone that hates the Cowboys or anything. They didn't get hosed, all right, on that last play. It was just a stupid play call. If you're going to run a QB draw like that, try to get a quick spike there, Dak shouldn't have run the ball so far. Because Dak literally ran like 15 yards before getting down. And I'm like, okay, maybe if you want to get 10. And even then, I still don't really like the play call because 3 plays in a row, the 49ers allowed you to get a good bit of yards on each one of those plays and get out of bounds. I didn't think the Cowboys want to continue to do that, being that there was only 14 seconds left. But they gave you 3 pretty easy plays because they didn't want to allow anything deep. You didn't even bother going to the middle of the field, which is smart. That's what you're supposed to do. You went to the outside, 3 straight plays, got good yardage. And then with no timeouts left, you run a QB draw up the middle, 14 seconds left. And it would have been pretty close, regardless of the ref bumping into Dak anyway. But that happens because obviously the ref either has to go through the line or he has to go around the line, which that would have taken more time in the first place anyway. So he has to be able to get through the line, and the ball was not in the right spot. One, they spotted it too far in the first place, too far up. That's number one. And 2, I think, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be based off of where you start the slide, not even where you actually end. So, it was still pretty good, a good ways far off, right? So he would have had to respot the ball. So really, they got a little bit of help there. Anyway, but it was just a dumb play call. Like maybe if you had 20 seconds left, sure, because then you could probably, maybe if it doesn't take as long, you say you run 10 yards with 20 seconds left, you might be able to get 2 shots in the end zone. If you spike it, you maybe have like 8 seconds left or so. But that didn't happen. But the game didn't come down to that. That wasn't the only reason that they lost the game. And anybody insinuating that is probably just an angry Cowboys fan. Again, not saying that as somebody that likes to see the Cowboys lose. I'm just saying that as a fact. So the rest, we know the rest have been atrocious this year, but that was not an instance of that being on the ref. You got to know you cannot just spot the ball yourself and then go. All right, you got to be able to let the ref through. Obviously, it's a 50-year-old man. He's not going to be able to keep up with you. We can't expect the refs to just be in a sprint with 20-year-old men going down the field. So besides that, the penalties were a big thing. The Niners, they had 9 penalties, but they only had about 60 yards. The Cowboys, 14 penalties for 90 yards. That would be the biggest thing besides the running game being non-existent. And of course, the interception that Dak threw, which immediately led to a touchdown to put them up 23-7 at that point. There's a lot more than just that play at the end. There's been a lot of games where you could say, oh, it came down to the refs or whatever, but this was not one of those games. The Cowboys shouldn't have been in this game in the first place based on how they played through 3 quarters. So to say that they lost the game there is just stupid. But the 49ers were just a better team. Even though they did slow down once they got to the fourth quarter, they didn't score at all. They let the Cowboys come all the way back. They gave them chances to come back with that penalty on that fourth down conversion that they had. And then obviously Jimmy G's interception. I'm not gonna sit here and act like Jimmy G's a bum, but that is definitely, something that Jimmy G will do time and time. He just throw an interception. They went to the running game after that. But you just have to give the 49ers credit. A lot of people picked the 49ers just because they thought this would be a pretty good upset. I know you picked them. I was kind of like, I feel like they could possibly win, but I still picked the Cowboys. So it's not like this was a crazy upset. The 49ers are a good football team. They just beat the Rams last week. So this isn't really a crazy upset. And we shouldn't sit here and act like the Cowboys were destined to go to the Super Bowl and they should be super disappointed. I think a lot of it comes from them just getting so much media attention in the first place. Because even when they legitimately have a really good football team, they still get too much attention. And I think that contributes to a lot of the disappointment. But regardless, the 49ers, they came out, they played better than the Cowboys did, and they were the better team that day.
Yeah, just to kind of close up and add on here, I think, to your point about the ref needing to get to the ball and everything, for one, the ref is the one who has to spot the ball. And for two, I believe him bumping into Dak is a sign that he was trying his best to get up there as fast as possible to give them the fairest shot possible. But, they closed the line off on him, and they kind of fumbled that themselves. And like you said, they put it up too far and all the other things that happened there. But yeah, I definitely don't think the ref was out to send Dallas home. I don't think he would have slammed himself into fully suited up Dak Prescott if he was trying to make him lose the game. And then, Jimmy G had late interception. I don't want to say Jimmy G doesn't like to win, but it seems like sometimes that Jimmy G likes to win in the scariest way possible. This is what he did against the Cowboys, but nonetheless, he did win, and he advances. So, good game, good football team, like you said. These are definitely not a team of bums, neither one of them. I do wish the Cowboys would have played a little better, made it a little more exciting. But hopefully the Niners at least stay interesting as they move on to a probably much tougher matchup this coming week.